Friday here in Berea. The Browns about to set out on the road for about 10 days here. They will play in Denver, then go to LA before they play the Rams. And Mary Kay, they will play this game on Sunday in Denver without their number one cornerback, Denzel Ward. He was ruled out. You reported back on Wednesday that this is something that could linger a couple of weeks. And of course, this is week 1 now that he'll miss.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for them. He is their number one lockdown corner. I think his rating when quarterbacks throw in his direction is about 28 something for QBs, which is pretty darn remarkable. So you never want to be without your number one lockdown guy. But fortunately for them, they do have other really good cornerbacks on this team. Of course, they have Greg Newsome. They've got Martin Emerson. Mike Ford will step up into the role. They've got other guys. So they have some depth there. But it's never good to be without him, and now we don't know how long he's going to be out.
Yeah, and Ashley, it is just that domino effect when you lose a guy at the top, and this team has been through this again and again and again, but when you lose a guy at the top, other guys have to step into roles that maybe they aren't as familiar with, and they have to perform in different ways.
Yeah, I will say maybe the one silver lining to like the order of succession in the cornerback room right now is the fact that in that Ravens game, Denzel Ward did exit early, when they evaluated him for a concussion, when he left with that neck injury ultimately. So Mike Ford Jr. has at least been through this before, and in that situation he kind of unexpectedly had to step in and play a bunch of defensive snaps. This time around they at least know that's coming, and I do think it helps. Mike Ford is a veteran, even though this is his first year here, so I definitely think those guys just kind of know how to prepare overall when they're thrown into those situations.
Yeah, and we'll remind everyone too that Cam Mitchell, who would normally step into maybe that slot role if Newsome moved outside, he's also on IR, so they are very short-handed there. Now, one guy that they might have back, Mary Kay, is Juan Thornhill. He is questionable for this game. Anthony Walker questionable for this game, but if either of those guys play, it would certainly help the defense.
Yeah, it would, and of course, this is the week that safety Rodney McLeod left the lineup for the season with a torn biceps. He's undergoing surgery. On Wednesday, both Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill missed practice, but they've returned, and it looks like both are going to play. Juan has missed 2 games, but to get him back, that'll be good. They need to go into Denver. Tough place to play. They're going up against Russell Wilson. 19 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions. You need all your DBs.
Yeah, and actually going to Anthony Walker, this is a guy that, this was described as week to week to us earlier in the week. And when you hear that, you think it's going to be multiple games. And now here he is questionable to maybe return and not miss a game.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of surprised knowing that week to week was the first description that Kevin Stefanski gave to him on Monday. I do think it was a good sign that right away Kevin said he was not a candidate for IR, which, you assume means that they were counting on him missing fewer than 3 games. But I think if he can get out of this, having to miss no games, that's perfect. He's, of course, their main green sticker guy on defense. I'm sure people have missed us talking about that. Along with Sione Takitaki, they do kind of split it. But he's one of the key communicators this unit has. And I think last year they really saw what it's like when he's not out there and how that aspect of the game suffered for them overall.
All right, let's talk some Joe Flacco here, because Kevin Stefanski, Mary Kay, would not say if Joe would be the number 2 quarterback on Sunday against Denver. He simply said, hey, we like the guys we have. So no clarification as to the quarterback pecking order yet for the Broncos game.
No, and you know what? It's all about competitive advantage. When Kevin doesn't want to tell us something, it's not because he just is, just being difficult. It's because he is trying to maintain that little shred of competitive advantage. So the Broncos, they don't really know if they have to prepare for Joe Flacco or look more at PJ Walker. But Joe looked like he fit right in this week, and I'm he'll be out there on this trip. They're going from Denver out to LA, and I think at some point on this trip he's probably going to end up being the number 2 quarterback.
Yeah, and obviously, look, Ashley, ideally Dorian Thompson-Robinson just holds down the job and it doesn't matter, but we got to keep an eye on where Joe Flacco ends up as he progresses along.
Yeah, and we've talked about it again and again ever since Joe got here earlier this week, but I do think, he was sitting there waiting for the right opportunity. He hadn't signed anywhere yet this year, and I think in Cleveland, it's undeniable he has a chance potentially in that backup role, and, knowing that DTR is a rookie and has struggled already some this year, to potentially play even more. So I do think, we've talked about it, he did not come here to be the number 3 quarterback in Cleveland for the rest of the season.
Okay, Browns preparing for the Broncos. We'll have full coverage, previews, everything you need, all at cleveland.com/Browns.